There's only one path to reach happiness, and that path consists of 4 steps. In today's video, we're going to talk about step 1, how to reach happiness. Step 1. I'll give you a scenario and then I'm going to explain. Let's say you work for Apple. You work for Apple company. What are your responsibilities at this company? What position do you hold? What is your position at the company? And why do you work for the company? The most important responsibility for you as an Apple employee is to represent the company well, right? You are a representative of Apple. You're wearing their shirt. It has a logo here, right? Because you have to create a good image for the company. And of course, you have to comply with their rules, policies. You need to follow the rules and be a good employee. And of course, you can't go around using Android or other smartphones, right? You can't do that. You have to start using Apple products. I mean, if you are working for Apple and you have Android, I don't think you're going to stay there very long. They're going to fire you. Get out. You're fired. You have to have an iPhone. Otherwise, what? You're not a good representative. So, if you are a representative of this company, then you have to create a good image for Apple. And if you are a sincere employee, you will always do what you're supposed to do and continuously try to be better. Now, if you're a bad employee and you don't like working for Apple, then you're not a good representative and you're probably just there for the money. You don't care about Apple. You don't care about their policies and you don't care about their vision or mission. And sooner or later, you're going to get fired. They're going to fire you because they're watching, they're observing, they're noticing your progress. They can tell if you're sincere or not, they're watching. So, and you may even cause trouble for Apple, like losing money and losing customers because you're not a good representative. If I come to Apple and I see you holding, like having an Android phone, I'll probably say, what? I'm never coming back here, right? So you have to be a good employee, a good representative. So it's all about sincerity. How sincere you are as an employee determines how sincere you are as a person. Now, when you first start working at Apple, you have no idea what's going on. You have no knowledge about your responsibilities, your position, and that's okay. What you need is training. You need to learn about the company. You need to be trained about what you need to do through knowledge, through information. So you need to learn a lot about the company, but most importantly, you need to learn a lot about yourself as an employee of the company. And the best employee is the one who is the best representative. And the best representative is the one who follows, who understands and follows the company's rules, regulations, policies, etc., the best way possible. Now, what do you need for that? You need knowledge, information, guidance. You can't do any of that by yourself. The same is true for reaching happiness. You need knowledge. What kind of knowledge? You need knowledge about yourself. The first thing you need to understand about yourself is that just like that Apple employee, you are a representative on this earth. What? Representative on this earth? What does that even mean? Well, this is not my word. This is God's word. In the Quran, God told the angels, indeed, I will create upon the earth a successive authority or a representative. He was telling the angels before he created humans. And so this is how important we are as humans, how honorable we are. What does that mean? Well, you are a representative on this earth and you are here on a business trip. This is the first thing you need to know about yourself, that you are a representative and you are here on a business trip. This is the first step, knowledge of self. Understanding who you are and what's your purpose. When you are doing a job interview, they always ask you this question. Why should we hire you, right? Why are you here? So you should start asking yourself why you're here. Where did you come from? Where are you right now? What state are you in? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you aware of your own feelings and emotions? Are you in control of your actions? Or are you just like doing random things without thinking? Do you think about why you're here or how you got here? Do you think about where you're going when you're done here? when you die? These are all really important questions to ask yourself in order to understand yourself and learn more about yourself, because you are not created at random. You're not just randomly put here on this earth with zero purpose. That's not true. Every single human was created as a representative. Just think about that. That's really deep. So what you need to do is learn and know about yourself, understand yourself. And like I said, this is the first step of reaching happiness, to know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, then you're just like a robot. Obviously, to know yourself is to understand yourself, understanding your emotions, your feelings, being aware of your actions, right? And just like the Apple employee, if you have just started working for Apple, you don't know what to do. You have no idea what's going on, right? So as representatives of this earth, we need guidance. Like, we're just put on here with nothing, with no tools. No, we have the tools, but we have to look for them. We need guidance. We need to know our responsibilities, our purpose, and why we're here. The first thing you need to learn is that you are a representative. And that's a huge honor. Like, imagine God created you and me to be representatives of this earth. And who do you represent? You represent God, right? You represent God because you are God's creature. And by the way, the ideas of this video are from a book called The Alchemy of Happiness by famous philosopher Al-Ghazali. A famous philosopher, Al-Ghazali, from the 11th century, this book. So this book was written over 900 years ago. And I'll tell you, when I'm reading it, it's as relevant today. So we said you have to understand yourself to become happier, or to become happy, right? You first need to understand what you are made of. You're made of a body, you're made of a mind, the faculty of thinking. You're made of a heart, and sometimes they interpret the heart as the soul. So body, mind, heart, or soul. Your mind is the place where you think, contemplate, and critically think about your decisions, right? Your heart is the place you feel, right? It's the place where you feel. As for the soul, we don't know much about the soul, but we can describe the soul as our consciousness, or like I said, as your heart, your spiritual heart, right? Not the physical heart, the spiritual heart. As far as the soul, Al-Ghazali says in this book, the body can be compared to a steed, a horse, and the soul is the rider, and the soul is its rider. So you have a horse and the rider, the person, and the person is the soul. So the soul is operating your body, is riding your body. Now, the uniqueness of humans is that we're the only creatures who have a mind, the faculty of thinking. You have a mind, you have a body, you have a soul, right? Animals don't have the ability to think, or reason, like, what should I eat for tomorrow? Or what do I want for my future? I made a big mistake yesterday. That's not right. I need to go apologize to my chicken friend, right? Animals don't have thinking. Humans have the faculty of thinking. And what's crazier is that we even have the ability to think about our thoughts, to think about our thinking, which is really crazy. So we're able to think and make decisions based on our thoughts. So what you need to understand is that you are a creature. You are created, right? You're not a creator, right? You didn't come from nothing. And where did you come from? Well, you were created by of course, a creator. You have a creator, because nothing can create itself. You think of this phone, it was created by somebody or a bunch of people, machines that were created by some people. Nothing can create itself. The way to understand yourself is to understand your creator, the one who created you. You can understand that simply by contemplating and thinking about everything else that was created by the same creator. Like, you go outside, you look at the sky, you look at animals, you look at the trees, and you're like, wow, we were all created by the same creator. As for humans, we are representatives of this earth. So we represent every other creature. We are more noble and honorable than any other creature on the planet, because we have to represent the planet, right? We have to represent the earth. And so, just like the Apple employee scenario, if you are a representative, if you want to be a good representative, then you need to follow the rules and policies that were made by God, right? So, through all of these, you try to understand yourself. You try to understand your feelings, your emotions, your fears, your like what you're scared of, what you're anxious about, why you get angry, right? You try to learn more about yourself. You are created by someone else. So, in his book, The Alchemy of Happiness, Al-Ghazali says that humans as creatures are right in between devils, animals, and angels. We're right in between. So we're always going back and forth between being devil-like, being animal-like, being angel-like. And I'm going to explain what that exactly means. Because of the freedom to think, to feel, to act, we can be either like devil, animal, or like angels. And this is the reason why there are good people, there are bad people, there are all kinds of people, right? But they all fall under these three categories: devil-like, angel-like, animal-like. Let me explain the three types of humans. The first one is devil-like. What does Satan or the devil want in this world? Well, he wants corruption, he wants crimes, killing, hurting people, lying, deceiving, cheating, all kinds of terrible things. He promotes all these kinds of things. What about animals? What are animals like? What do they do in this world? What are their activities? Eating, pooping, having sex, right? When they're hungry, they eat. When they're thirsty, they drink. When they have feelings of arousal to mate, they find a partner and they mate. So they always act based upon their desires. They have no reasoning, always acting upon their feelings, emotions, and desires. Now, what about angels? What is angel like? Angels are in complete submission to God. They are always in command of God. They don't do anything that is outside of God's command. They are completely and fully submitted to God's command, God's will, and His decree. So they have no free will, they have no free choice. And they're happy about that. They are always submitted to God, worship God, and follow God's command. Now, when it comes to humans, we are right in between all of these. There are people who are devilish and they want to hurt other people. They want to cause destruction in the land. They want to kill humans. They do not care about anyone or anything. They only care about themselves and their desires and what they want to achieve. Their actions are like of the devils. And in today's world, the devilish people are all around us. You turn on the TV, you see devilish looking people. On the apps and the websites you're using, you see devilish or devil-like people, like corrupt leaders. You know what I'm talking about, right? So devil-like humans are extremely dangerous because they work directly with Satan, with the devil, you know? And what is Satan's job? What is devil's job? To lie, to cheat, to deceive, right? To make you confused, like you don't even know about yourself, right? You don't even know who you are. To make you not care about other people, you become like selfish, right? And they mislead you, they make you do bad things. And then you become devilish as well. The Satan or the devil makes you feel like you don't know what's right, what's wrong. You don't know, maybe you look at something or an action. Oh, this is okay, but it's wrong. So you become very confused. You can't tell the difference between right and wrong. So it's extremely dangerous to be around devil-like people. If you have the option, do not be near them at all costs. On the other hand, there are people that are like animals. They're only focused on having fun and following their desires. Just like the animal description. When they're hungry, they eat. When they're thirsty, they drink. When they have a feeling of, mating or having sex, they go and find somebody and do that. Always acting based on emotions, desires, and they have no sense of direction. And those kind of people, doesn't matter how successful they are, they will never reach happiness because they're acting like animals. So hopefully you're not one of them. Now, there are people who are like angels. They have true knowledge of God and what he commands. And so what do? They follow God's command. They fully submit to God's command. And of course, God's command is not corruption, the complete opposite of Satan, right? The two energies. And of course, God is the most powerful over all things, including Satan, right? So, but these two energy forces, right? These two energy forces, humans, devils, animals, angels, you have all these options that to choose from, right? Because we have free will. We have the option to choose. We have somewhat power over our decisions, right? So, but if you don't know, or if you don't have knowledge of God, if you don't know God, then you don't know what you're supposed to do. So how can you decide which one you should be? Well, first of all, humans' natural inclination is submission to God. That's our natural inclination. But through all the programming that you go through in education, in society, culture, you forget about your purpose. You don't know exactly what's your purpose. But by understanding why you're here, what's your purpose, and who created you, you come back to understanding a little bit about God and what's right, what's wrong. And of course, it's impossible to know yourself or your purpose completely if you don't know God. Knowledge of self-knowledge is completely directed to the knowledge of God, right? A lot of people, maybe they say, oh yeah, I know myself completely, but they're going heedlessly, right? They're going towards some path that does not reach ultimate happiness. And that's why I said to reach happiness consists of 4 steps. And today's step 1, understanding yourself and understanding that the knowledge of self is completely tied to knowledge of God, understanding God. And so that's going to be in part 2, knowledge of God. Who's God and how can we learn more about him? So, but now that you understand a little bit about yourself and different options you have as a person, what kind of person do you want to be? You want to be someone who wants to hurt other people, somebody who lies and cheats, somebody who gives false promises like the devil, or someone who's always acting upon their desires, doing things completely out of emotions. Like, for example, drinking, other immoral behaviors, like I mentioned earlier, eating whenever you're hungry, right? You have no control over your emotions, your desires, your feelings, then that's kind of like being like an animal. Or someone who doesn't focus so much on this world, all the materialistic world, and focuses on what? Understanding God and where he came from, and of course, where he's going. Submitting himself to the will of God, and as she knows, that is the ultimate path of truth, the ultimate path to light and knowledge. It's like an angel, right? So now you can decide. Do you want to be like devil? Do you want to be like an animal? Do you want to be like an angel? These options are all available. Which one do you want to choose? What kind of representative do you want to be? And that's the only way to understand who you are, and that's the way to reach knowledge. The next video, we're going to talk about the knowledge of God, how to understand God. If you like this episode, please let me know in the comments and tell me something that you learned in this video. Thanks for watching.